Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne, a children's librarian here at the Manchester City Library, and I want to welcome you to Elementary Experiments, or welcome you back if you've been here before. Here we will do experiments, activities, and craft aimed at elementary grades 1 through 6, with a focus on STEAM, or science, technology, engineering, arts, or math. With school still in and weather warming up, we know that everyone has a lot to do, so we will continue to post 2 elementary experiments each month here online to share our activities and crafts with as many people as possible. So that is going to be on the first and the third Tuesday of each month. But if you are in grades 1 through 6 and you like what you see, remember that we also have each month activities and crafts that we do together in person on the last Tuesday of the month at 3:30 p.m. at the Manchester City Library. That's the main branch. So if you want to join us in person and you are in the correct age range, then please do visit our website to register and make sure that we have enough supplies and crafts for everyone. Now that we've covered all of that, let's get into this week's Elementary Experiments theme. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's Elementary Experiments, where we are talking about creeping space. Now I have to admit that today's Elementary Experiments was definitely inspired by this guy here. So Spider-Man has helped us before in one of our winter elementary experiments. And this week I found a really cool slime recipe, and I know how much you guys love slime. That really reminded me of one of Spider-Man's adventures. I don't know if everyone knows this, but Spider-Man gained a special black suit that actually came from space. It is actually a space creature that moves in a really cool way, and that's what this slime that we're going to make reminded me of. So specifically, this slime is magnetic slime, and it's my first time making it, so I'm really excited to test it out with you. But because the black Venom suit in Spider-Man came from space, I thought we would also make space the theme of this week. So let me get everything together for our activity. All right, so for our magnetic slime, we are going to be using liquid starch in this recipe, along with our regular white PVC glue. We also need a couple of special things. First off is going to be our black iron oxide powder. This will give it both the cool black color and also is what's going to make it magnetic. We're also going to need a magnet to show off that the slime can be magnetic. What I have here is a rare earth magnet or a neodymium magnet. Now these are extra strong just to make sure that we can get a reaction out of our iron oxide. I do want to say that if you guys are playing or working with rare earth magnets, you do need to be very careful. Do not swallow them under any circumstances because that can be very disruptive and dangerous. Also, if you have more than one, do not put like your fingers in between them or any other part of your body in between the magnets, because they can be very strong and that can be painful, and especially if you are a little younger or your fingers are not super strong, it can be really hard to take them back apart. So please just be careful, and if you're not sure, ask an adult to help you get started with this. But I have one in here, and I think I am going to keep it in the bag, at least for a little bit, because I'm a little worried about getting the slime or the iron oxide in the slime off of the magnets. So we'll try it both ways and see which way is best. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to take our glue and, of course, take our measuring cups out of our bowl. This one is a quarter and this one is a tablespoon. So we are going to take our 1/4 cup and we are going to add 1/4 cup of glue into our bowl. And I'm also going to grab a spoon, which is very helpful and I should have remembered. 1 second. So now is when I am going to take our black iron oxide and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the iron oxide into our glue. Now I do want to warn you guys that this is very powdery, which means that just a little bit of air is going to breeze or like breathing on it might cause it to fly into the air. So we are going to be very careful when we take it out and put it in because it is black and very powdery, which means it will get on clothing and the surrounding area. So as usual, I'm hoping that you guys did set up in a safe place to do experiments with like table coverings and stuff. But I do want to give you this extra warning about the iron oxide and that it can make more of a mess than normal. And especially you want to not like breathe it in. Now we are going to take this and we are going to stir it together. And again, remember we want to stir carefully. We're going to kind of actually fold the glue in at first. So that means kind of like to scoop and pour over because we don't want to stir up the iron oxide so that it goes into the air. We want to keep it in our bowl. Now I was warned that it is possible for your slime at this point to look very gray, like a lighter color. And not to worry about that, but my mixture does actually seem like a pretty nice black already. But right now, all this is glue with iron oxide. So to make the actual slime, we are going to need to add in our borate ion activator, which in this case is our liquid starch. So our liquid starch has our borate ions in it. And the addition of the borate ions to the glue is what is going to take the polymers, the molecular changes in the glue, and kind of link them together to make something that is stretchy and will hold. So we're going to take 2 tablespoons of our liquid starch. All right, and then we are going to stir this together. And you can tell just about right away it starts to get that slime texture. So I have had mixed results with liquid starch. So I am pulling out my slime where there still is liquid starch in the bowl because I don't want it to get too stiff. But we are going to keep kneading it. So here is our slime. It's not too bad. It's got some stretch into it. Okay, yeah, not bad at all. Let's go ahead and test it with our magnet. Okay. Not too bad. You know what? I think that it might actually be okay to just put the magnet right in because I think that the iron oxide really did absorb well. So let's see what happens. We take this and we just put it in there. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, here, let me... All right, right, so I also wanted to see what would happen if we tried this with several magnets. So this is 6 of the nearby name magnets, and we're going to see what happens. Ooh, oh my gosh, the pull is really stronger. Okay, yeah, that's a lot cooler. Much more satisfying. Ugh, although harder to get out. Okay, so this actually does work pretty well. And I think it does give the slightly creepy space effect of the symbiote suit from Spider-Man. Of course, I know that not everyone has iron oxide lying around or really wants to buy a bunch just for this experiment. So I will remind everyone that we do elementary experiments in person at the Manchester City Library on the last Tuesday of every month. So on the last Tuesday of this month, we will have our iron oxide ready for you guys to make some creeping magnetic slime of your own. We will also have our rare earth magnets there to play with. Unfortunately, the magnets do have to stay with us, but you will be able to take your slime home with you and see if you can get it to respond at home. Also, I think we might do at least one other type of slime just to see if there is a difference with how it reacts to the magnets, if it's like more or less creeping, which I think would be really fun, and having an excuse to make more slime is always great. So I will have to make myself put this away, even though it is really fun to play with. And we will go on to do our craft, which is also space themed. So if we have our slime, how did it get there? So we are going to be making straw rockets in our craft. So I'm going to go and get the supplies for that after a little bit of cleanup. So hopefully I will meet you right back here. All right, everyone, welcome to the craft segment of our creeping space, where we are going to create the straw rockets with which we can retrieve our magnetic slime creatures from space, or just have fun with them because they're super fun to play with. All right, so if you can, we will have our craft kits at the Manchester City Library for anyone who is in grades 1 through 6. But honestly, the supplies for this craft are pretty simple, so you might be able to collect them yourself. What we have in here is, besides our instructions, we have a little printout of a rocket ship. We have a small section of straw, and then we have another straw. Now, actually, the toughest part about this craft is that your 2 straws have to be able to fit into one another. If you see, my white striped straw is just a little bit wider than my clear straw, so it will go on top. That is honestly the hardest part, is to find straws that will work for that. You can definitely come up with creative solutions if you don't have these straws, but like I said, they are going to be in our kits, so if you are nearby and are able to pick it up within this week that they're going to be out, or if you are able to come to our in-person elementary experiments at the end of this month, we will have these available. Okay, so to get on to the fun part, we are going to take our template and we are going to color it and cut it out. Either way is fine. I think I'm going to color it first, as I normally do. I do have some coloring materials here. Of course, you don't technically need coloring materials if you're completely happy with your white rocket. I also did grab a pair of scissors and some tape, which we are definitely going to need. You can also use some glue if you would like, but the tape will work for both things, and we will need tape for sure. So even if you have glue, still find some tape. Okay, coloring. All right, once you have your rocket ship colored and cut out, we are going to grab our smaller straw. Well, this is the smaller section of straw, but it's actually the straw with the biggest diameter. If you guys remember from when we talked about circles, a diameter is if you measure a circle across the middle, that is the diameter. So a wider diameter is going to mean a bigger circle, which means the straw with the wider diameter can go over the straw with the smaller diameter. So our small section straw has a larger diameter than our full straw. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that smaller section and we are going to take a smallish piece of tape. And we are going to put it on top of the straw, right? Like it's a little hat. And then what I like to do is I like to clip the tape a little bit. So like maybe on each side. And so you can cut up to the straw, but we want to make sure that we don't, that we leave it so that the top of the straw is completely covered by the tape with no like rips in it. And then we're going to just fold down our tape so it goes around our straw. But basically we want the top of the straw to be covered so that no air can escape through that top. You can also take another piece of tape and like wrap it around the seal here if you want to be extra sure. All right, so now we're going to attach the small straw to the back of our rocket. We do want to make sure that the part that has been taped, the end that has been taped, is going to be facing towards the top of our rocket, right? When we tape it on. This is where you can use glue for this part, but since you need to have the tape anyway, I think it's easier to just tape it on. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our rocket, we're going to put our straw into the rocket. Now you can do a little bit of testing to see what works for you with your straws. But I have found that if I put the straw all the way into, so if I put it so that it's all the way to the top, then my straw rocket will not launch. So I just put it in a little bit and I get better results. But this is where we come to the launching part. As you guys might have guessed, we are going to launch our straw rockets by blowing into them, right? So we are going to take our rocket and we're going to point it up, and then we are going to give a strong puff of air so that it flies. Let's see. All right. So what is happening here, we are using air pressure to make our rocket fly. So if you have a straw and you just blow through it, nothing happens, right? But if you put your finger on the end of the straw and try that again, then you can feel that the air is actually exerting pressure, right? So what happens is because we capped off this end here, the pressure inside the straw segment will build until there is enough force to work against the pull of gravity and make the rocket fly. It's a little bit like if you guys have ever tried to cover up the end of a hose or a faucet and then like slowly turn on the water. You really can't keep your hand there. And the same thing is with our rocket. It cannot stay on that end of the straw when you're exerting all that air pressure. Like I said, I did try when I do have the rocket like all the way down and blow, then it doesn't go anywhere. And that's because my lungs cannot produce enough air pressure to fight against both gravity and the increased friction of the straws, right? Partly because the straws are so close in diameter, they are going to touch when I put them together. And if I just put it a little bit together, then there's only a little bit of space touching. So there is only a little bit of friction that I have to work against, as well as gravity. But if I put it further down, then all of a sudden I have this entire length of straw that is exerting friction as well as the force of gravity. And I have to work against both of those things with my lungs. And my lungs just aren't strong enough. So that is our straw rockets craft and a little bit of science as well as a hint or two to figure out how to make yours work. All right, so that is it for our Creeping Space elementary experiments. I hope that you guys had fun. I thought that these were some kind of really cool things that we did today, if a little tenuously connected by our Spider-Man here. Remember, if you do want to join us for our elementary experiments in person at the end of this month, that is going to be on Tuesday, the 25th at 3:30. That is also going to be during our April vacation week. And we are going to have a bunch of other fun activities planned at the Manchester City Library for that week. So I would ask that you go online and check out our calendar. While you're there, you can register for elementary experiments. So I make sure that we have enough slime and other fun things to go around. But we do have plenty of other activities that you don't have to register for, as well as things for other age ranges as well. But that is all I have for you today. So I hope I will see you in person on the 25th. But if not, I will see you next month on the very first Tuesday right back here. All right, everyone. Bye.